Hello. I am still in the Hyundai Tucson from Enterprise, the hire as part of the warranty deal. But good news is that I will not be in it for much longer. The dealer called yesterday and the parts are in for Zoe. They are going to fix those for the charging socket at the front of the car, and then carry out the service, 3-year service, which should include a new 12-volt battery, and then after that do the MOT. So we should be all kind of set there. I have been given a Twingo from the dealer, because they've got the parts in. Apparently the way this works, it's now the dealer's responsibility to get the car sorted. So while it was all on hold from Renault, then you still have the car from the hire, but now this car, the Tucson, is going to go back, and I've got a Twingo to tide me over until Zoe is ready, which will either be tomorrow or maybe Monday. I think they were working on it a bit yesterday and today, so yeah, maybe tomorrow would be good, though I'm so busy tomorrow, I'm not entirely sure when to hand over and all that kind of stuff. Yes, so I thought I'd just do a quick update in this car while I've still got it, having done about 800 odd miles in it, and have had it for about 6 weeks, I guess. Mostly driving around the city, a few runs out in the country, and then one longer run down to Perth and back just on Monday this week. So yeah, and of course it's January. It's been pretty cold. Today's quite a nice day, 8 degrees, not too bad. But it has been a lot colder. We've actually had some snow, a couple of days of snow, so it was nice having the 4-wheel drive for that, though it was tiny bits of snow, so nothing to worry about. The Zoe would have been absolutely fine in the snow as well. Yeah, so what I did after the last video, when I was talking a little bit about this car, I then filled up the car, and let me stay in this lane actually, and then I reset the trip meter just to see what the economy was. Now I'm looking at it now, and I think it's about what I said it was in the last video. It's about 35 miles to the gallon I've been getting. However, that included a run down to Perth and back, which was mostly motorway and then cross-country kind of A road, and that made a big difference to the economy. So I think I probably have done about 350 miles or something like that, 400 miles. I just filled it up again last night in preparation for the car going back. But when I was just driving around town, having reset it, which is a lot of our driving, I was getting about 27-28 miles to the gallon. Now that really is massively different to the Citroen, which I'm averaging, I think over the winter it's been about 38-40, and that is, again, it's mostly around the city, and then 45 or so is our kind of total over the last sort of 7,000 miles. It's averaging about 45, which included kind of long run down to Devon and stuff in the summer. Mind you, we had that roof box on the top and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is a lot more thirsty. I would not like to be driving this around town, you know, just and manual gearbox and all that. So Now, one of the things though, going the longer run and kind of playing around with the lane assist in the last video, it did give a chance to see how that works. And do you know what? On the motorway, it is pretty effective when you're kind of on a you know, a longer run with the road, the lanes are clearly identified. Yeah, it does work pretty well. I mean, you can't have, it's not designed to be hands off. It warns you every 10 seconds or so if it doesn't detect your hands on the wheel, and just a little shimmy on the wheel, it then picks it up. But yeah, I actually was quite impressed. So more so than I was in the last video, where it was kind of around town and on, you know, you weren't getting a nice kind of longer run there. So it is definitely a move in an interesting direction. Yeah. Hyundai, as far as the Ioniq goes, I did pop into the dealer 2 weeks ago, I think it was, something like that, to ask them when they're going to get, well, to ask them if they had an electric Ioniq in, and if they didn't, when they would be getting one in. So they didn't. They have a hybrid version there at the dealer, but I'm not really that bothered about that one. It's the electric I'd like to try, have a look at. So yeah, they said that they probably won't get one in until the first quarter in 2017, March time 2017, end of first quarter. So that's a bit lame. So it's great seeing some other folks. Oh, you can tell it is winter time, such a low sun. It's been great looking at some of the videos of other people who've been having a chance to try it out, but no way of being able to do that up here at the moment. Though I must get in touch with somebody on Facebook. Said that they had taken delivery of one and they're in Aberdeen, so I must get in touch with them and see if I can have a wee look at their car at some point when I'm a little less busy to be able to do that. So we'll see. And then the other thing, of course, is the new Zoes, which are starting to come out. And oh no, we've got complete congestion up here ahead on our wee little road. Backing up. DHL van, there's another van for the lighting here. Everyone blocking what is a single lane part road. Here we go. Yes, so the new Renault, I'm keen to try, and it'd be great to try and borrow one for 24 hours or so to really see how that is. Haven't heard anything yet about the battery situation, whether folks will be able to switch them out, how that would work. I have come to the end of my 3 years with the battery lease, so it has just kind of rolled over into the new battery lease at the moment. So paying the same amount as I was before, so no great changes there, and that was, you know, it was all pretty seamless actually. There was no real bother with all of that. So that is where I am at the moment. So I'm waiting for Enterprise to come and pick this car up, and then to hear back from the dealer on picking up Zoe, which we've kind of missed. It's been basically like the whole winter we've not had Zoe around. So I've done about 2 full tanks on this car. It was maybe a little bit lower, quarter tank when I filled it up last night, and then it was empty when I filled it up previously. So that's where we are. We will turn off the lovely rattle and hum of that. Yeah, don't think there's anything else really. You know, it'd be nice to try some of these other cars that are coming out. Yeah, I'm still, as far as our Zoe goes, the plan is to keep it for a few years more. But yeah, definitely got a bit of a nag though. If for another year of warranty to go, if once it's out of warranty, we have an issue like this where it is just a relatively simple thing, kind of the socket stuff, but it takes 6 weeks to resolve. That's if you're having to pay for a set of wheels to cover you for that, well, we wouldn't be able to do that. We'd be struggling with one car for weeks on end, which would be a complete pain. Yeah, so that's something to think about when we get near to the end of the 4 years. What happens there? Anyway, enough of this little bit, and I'll maybe do another wee little video from Twingo. I haven't even been in it yet. It was dropped off a few hours ago. I'm just having to take one of the kids to college, so I'll need to take it for a wee spin. So maybe join me for that later. Cheers, bye. Ooh, Twingo. This is day 2 of having the Renault Twingo, and however, I just had a phone call first thing this morning to say that Zoe was ready to be picked up. After 7 weeks or so. It's been a long time. So I am off to go and switch out this car, which actually only did a kind of one journey across the other side of the city in last night, and a bit of running around this morning. It was completely covered in ice this morning. It is very cold. There is no exterior temperature gauge on this car. So, but it must be hovering around about freezing, I would think. Lovely day, nice and bright and shiny, but it is cold. So I have not done very many miles in this car, but whoo, my goodness me, what a contrast to both the Hyundai Tucson and to Zoe. I would not get on with this car at all. It is not very refined. I mean, it's a little city car. However, just when you come to a standstill and the engine is idling, of course the engine in this thing is in the back, the whole car is vibrating. It reminds me of kind of 2CV days with a 2-cylinder engine vibrating away. So yes, and very little pickup at all. So you got to rev it. Of course, once you're used to electric or diesel, you're having to really rev before you let the clutch out, rather than just letting the torque of the engine pull you along. It takes a bit of getting used to again. It's kind of fun to look at. The interior is kind of funky, but it is so small. There's no space for your left foot next to the clutch is right up against the kind of mid bulkheady bit, so there's nowhere to put your foot when you're off the clutch, other than putting it underneath the clutch, which that would drive me nuts, and would get very sore. It gets quite sore when you're driving through the city, having to hover your foot all the time over the clutch. So the temptation is, of course, to rest your foot on the clutch, which is, well, I was always taught was a bit of a no-no. You shouldn't do that when you're driving around. Anyway, we will head to the dealer, which is not far away, and switch out this little thing for Zoe. And I must admit, I will be glad to see Zoe back. So maybe just having this car for a day in between the kind of larger heated seat luxury of the Hyundai is a nice transition back to Zoe, and realise, oh, actually it's really quite a comfortable car and much more spacious than it might appear at first glance. So that's the plan for this morning, and I will catch up with you in just a moment. It is pretty tinny, just in here, that kind of thing. Steering wheel's kind of feels leather covered though, which is quite nice, and the instrument display is sorry, getting the sun actually reflecting off the building on the other side. It's kind of funky, mini-ish Citroen DS3-ish sort of looking thing. It's fine. It has this here, which I'm not quite sure. It's obviously for putting your phone in and all of that. Looks a bit odd there. However, I just pulled in next to Zoe, which is needing a little bit of defrosting by the looks of it. Right, time to head in to the dealer. So, a new battery in here, and you can see brand new on here, control unit has been added. This is all gleaming, and so yeah, this whole section looks new, added on. And full charge, of course, it's been sitting for weeks and weeks. 55 miles. Wee mama. I think I might do a little reset there on what we've got. Let's have a look and see. Here we go. 73. That looks a little bit better for the middle of winter. And no warning signs. That is good to see. Right, heating required. Make sure eco is off. It is, and on to full whack. Fan is working fine. I was a bit worried about that. I know some folks have had when the car has been sitting for a long time, the fan's not working when you get kind of back into the the car, but all good there. Right, gonna get the camera hooked up. The wonderful thing, it's -1 degrees, and the screen is already defrosted in the time it took me to put the camera onto the windscreen. Whee! That's great. So I can actually turn that down, off maximum there. Let's put that down to 20 degrees or so. Auto. I'm a great believer in just leaving it in auto mode. Right. Oh, quiet. That's good. In fact, I'm gonna turn that down a wee bit. Okay. You can hear the heat pump just kind of winding down a little bit at the front. So you do wonder, with the car having been sitting for 6 weeks or so, there may be a few little groans and grinds as everything gets back to getting ready to be used day in, day out once more. Oh, the silence. Oh, that's so nice though, after the rattle of the diesel. No gears to faff around with, and a little bit more space. I've got a footrest for my clutch foot, for my left foot. No clutch, of course, and it just pulls away. No rattling or rumming. No trying to stall as the Twingo kept trying to do, unless you rev the guts out of it when you took off. Yes, it's nice to have Zoe back. Right, so what did they end up doing with it away? Well, they have ended up changing the charging ECU. So on the kind of engine block, if you like, the stack, the motor stack, you have at the bottom the actual electric motor, and then in between that you've got what's called the inverter, which converts between AC and DC for what the battery requires, and then it's an AC motor, what the motor requires, and the same thing when you're charging, taking the AC power supply and putting that into DC for the battery. So that's kind of in the middle, and then on the top of that are all the electronics that control everything, the charging electronics. So they have switched out to a new brain. The whole ECU there is brand new. So that's what they've done. It seems to be all fine. So we'll just see how we go. So initially, it sounded like it was the kind of charging socket that they were going to be switching around, but obviously in a bit more delving around, that's what they've decided to do. So we'll see how that goes. It was serviced, but the service items are the pollen filter, and it got a new 12-volt battery. Every 3 years, the 12-volt battery is changed out because it has a very different use cycle to your average car, which is kind of, when the engine is running, is always charging the battery. It's a bit different. It's kind of charged when the battery is getting charged, and so just for its health, make sure you don't get stranded. They've done that. So those are the two only things. Otherwise, it was just checks on everything else. It got its MOT, and it passed everything with no advisories. Now, what's quite interesting, so it's 3 years old. It has done how many miles? 23,000 miles or so. And the brakes they estimate 20% worn. So, yeah, you could see the brakes kind of going for another 60-odd thousand miles, maybe heading towards 100,000 miles before brakes pads or whatever are needing adjusted. So that's pretty good, which to be expected, because the brakes do not get much of a workout, but a relief anyway. Right, the car is fully charged, so I can't really, one of the things I'm wanting to do is to double, well, I suppose I could go up and do it. No, actually, there's probably somebody parked there. I'll go and try it. I'll need to have to go around the block again. There's somebody just behind me. To go and try the charger at the church that has been installed, because although it was installed back in November, kind of early December, I apart from being once using the demonstrator car from the dealer, I've not tried my own car. This is the first time I've had it back since 27th of November or something like that, when it went off. Right, so we'll go and try that. It's amazing. As soon as you start driving, of course you're used to driving the car, you just get straight back into the kind of way of it. But it's especially driving a manual car in traffic and all of that. Oh, it is a pain. It really is a bit of a pain. And since we hardly ever do any driving out the country, where it's maybe quite fun to have a manual gearbox car, I don't miss it at all. So so it's very nice. Very nice to have Zoe back. Okay, this is the testing time. See if somebody is parked in here already. And there is. I should have known. But we will pull in nonetheless. Right. Oh, see, I went to turn the key. I'm so used to that now, needing the key to get out of here. Don't need to. Press the button and we're done. Excellent. Right. Let's go and give this a try. Success. However, not the recommended way of connecting to the charger, but it is working. Result. So as I was unplugging the cable, I realized that this is a brand new charging socket as well that has been fitted here. It is not got the usual dust and kind of gubbins, the sort of stuff that you see around it. It is looking very new and clean, and all the rest. Pins are in place. Some folks have issues with those. I've never had an issue with them, but they are there. So they have changed that as well. So I guess it's the whole kind of charging part of the car has been changed. There. Okay. Close that up. Yes, so car charging fine. Of course it was at 96% or something like that. So it's a 7 kilowatt charger, so just like your domestic charger installed. So of course when you're starting at that very high charge rate, it's very slow, so you could hardly even hear any whine at all, which if it's charging at kind of the full 7 kilowatt, you do hear a bit. Right, so anyway, that was good. So that's working, so we'll be able to use that if the local charger at the bottom of the road is not working, or if I'm working or something like that. That's the whole point of it. Up at the church, it is a workplace charger. So the kind of thing that you'd put in if you're a business for your employees to use. So that's what we've done there. Right, and yeah, as I was pointing out, the charging socket does seem to have been changed now that I'm having a good look at it. Oh, mamma mia, this car has parked in the most obnoxious, in fact I don't think I can fit in there, the most obnoxious place, with lots of space behind but not enough space in front to get in. We'll go over here. Yeah, so they have changed the socket, which is kind of what they've been saying they were going to do initially. And in fact, I'm going to park on the other side of the road here, so it's out the way of the buses swinging past. So I think it must be basically the whole of the kind of charging circuit has been sort of replaced. You know, that kind of all the mechanics and, well, not the mechanics, the connecting bits and all that. I mean, obviously the cables through to the battery and all that are just look the same, but the kind of control stuff. So we'll see. I don't know how much all that costs. I didn't ask that question, but I have asked the question about warranty and what kind of will happen. So the car's still under it's another year of warranty, but then kind of what happens, and especially if something like that happens again, the car's going to be off the road for 6-7 weeks. That's a lot of time if you're trying to cover that yourself. So I might need to. So they're going to go off and try and find out a bit more about that, and I may give Renault customer services a call and find out. I need to know what to do with the diesel receipts for the fuel anyway, and take it from there. Anyway, good to have Zoe back. Lots else I need to do today, so I'm signing off for now. Cheers, bye.